hang on. I was feeling halfway decent, and so I cleaned the litter box. Let's go ahead and get this up. Amaranth, I think, is trying to dress up like Beth from Yellowstone. Pokemane's looking pretty good. Jen Fox is looking really good. She's playing Diablo 4. And that's all I'm, because everybody else I covered on the front. Fit MC's up and running. I swear to God, like the day Barbie came out and everybody, and again, I'm not trying to say anything bad about it, but when everybody was going Barbie nuts, that. Oh. Well, anyways, I had to turn the volume down. When Barbenheimer was going off, I think he was streaming as dressed up as Barbie. He was all in pink. If I actually had pink outfits, I would have probably done it, but I can't afford to buy stuff I'm not going to wear very often. If I had the money, I'd go. If I had the money, I'd go get some T-shirts. You know, just for every day. Oh, he's done. I thought it was. Usually I gotta shoot them guys like twice. I think what I'm gonna do is I got it working. Unless I run into problems. This thing's working. It'll take a while to fill it up. I think for this whole stream, I'm just going to be farming stuff. I want to get some, you know, I think I've gotten one out of like 20 books so far. I think I've gotten one book with Unbreaking 3 on it, but that's what I'm shooting for. I want Unbreaking 3. That's what I need right now. Oh my goodness. No, 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 no. I'm like in Tron. No, 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 no. I got hit with, now luckily it wasn't so, oh, Jesus Christ, there's another douchebag. Okay, what we're gonna do, looking for, cause see, if they kill me, that's one thing, but this is basically the main reason I've lost villagers over here. Those little, oh God, I don't know what they are, the little fucking winged evil bastards or whatever. They've gone and killed my my villagers. The other thing is when things have happened, and some of them were my fault, some of them I swear had to be glitches, but there've been times where there's been times where the villagers spawn up here. And I made some changes and it hasn't happened yet, but I need to basically bring another villager over here and get him trained in. I don't understand where he went. Okay, here he is. Oh, it must have just been these guys then. But yeah, I'm just going to farm this. Okay, now Skinwalker this week, I watched it again. Gave me a little time to rest. Gave me a time to go over to where my phone was and get on Threads. And, hey, I will probably do it later. I didn't think about it until I had fucking hobbled back in here away from the phone. And the laptop. If I had a better computer that worked and I was a little more mobile, I would just put the computer in here, the laptop, or I'd bring my computer from upstairs down here. The only thing is, if I do that, I think I would run out of desk space. The laptop would be a little more likely, and but no, but if you happen to like communicate, and I doubt if anybody does, but if there's anybody out there and you live in Tennessee, or you're pen pals with Representative Tim Burchett from Tennessee, get a hold of him and go, hey, Boomer, get on Threads. Because he's on TikTok, but he's been making a big deal how he had to correct his one daughter, I guess, because the one video, it's on social media, and he had made the comment that it's the Tic Tac video, like the candy. And I guess his daughter, when he called it a Tic Tac, she goes, Boomer, it's TikTok. And he goes, I got to correct her. He goes, one of the few times where I was right about something on social media. So, reach out to him. If I get on Twitter, I'll probably, but see, the thing is, if you do it on Twitter, you're probably going to get banned. You're going to probably get banned by Elon Musk. So, what I'll do is I'll probably maybe look for a Republican that I don't think is the fucking most disgusting person in the world, and just ask him, go, hey, tell that Boomer to get on Threads. Oh, good, we got one. But okay, the first thing on the ranch, and I should have done it because I reached out to him. And I told him, I go, look, I'm not in your district. I don't need or deserve a reply, to me. And I got to be honest with you. I'm going to be completely honest, because he seemed decent when he came there. I think he's a douchebag. I think he's a useless tool. But I'm going to be honest. When he showed up on the ranch, he seemed real skeptical, but he seemed to be taking it seriously. It was Senator Mike Lee, senator from Utah. I got to be honest with you. I think he's less of a tool than one of the senators from my state, Senator Johnson, Ron Johnson. I got to be honest with you. I am so pissed right now. And more than likely, I'll vote for him again anyways, but I am so disappointed in the governor and more importantly the attorney general for my state, because oh shit. The Michigan attorney general, I got to go get my sword. There we go. The Michigan Attorney General has actually brought charges against the false electors, and my Attorney General, and the governor should be on his ass if he isn't. I'm sorry. They should be bringing charges against our false electors, a former Republican Supreme Court Justice for Wisconsin, Gableman, members of the legislature here. They should all be under scrutiny. And if they didn't do anything, fine. But I can't imagine that if they actually did an honest job, that this idea that Democrats are going to keep letting Republicans break the law and get away with it. I mean, my God, they got Ron Johnson. There was somebody from his office contacting somebody from Mike Pence's office going, yeah, I'm trying to set up a meeting. Senator Johnson's got something he wants to drop off with the vice president. This was either on or right before January 6th. And he wanted to set up a time where Ron Johnson could, fucking play FedEx or UPS driver and fucking drop shit off. And they go, well, what is he trying to bring? And then when the Mike Pence guy found out it was like fake, fraudulent elector certificates, he's like, no, do not in any circumstance bring that to the vice president. And, and a comment that was reported, I didn't hear him say it, but something that was reported was Ron Johnson said, well, I was only involved in it for like a minute or something like that. That's all it takes. This isn't like the 5-second rule of insurrection. This isn't the 5-second rule of treason. It's like you did it. You absolutely. He said, if the reporting is accurate, it sounds like he admitted that he fucked up. It's like that's all you got to do. That's all it is. But well, anyways, back to the ranch. Senator Mike Lee made an appearance. And I gotta be honest with you, he seemed skeptical, but he was really decent. And I don't like the guy. I think he's a useless douchebag, but he seemed to take it seriously. He was asking everything cautiously, but one of the things he wanted to know was, couldn't this be? Instead of thinking it's UFOs or UAPs or some non-human, and I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, couldn't this be like something from, and the thing is, he wasn't even looking at it being maybe our government. But he's like, couldn't this be something from another government? And Travis, the look on his face, again, serious, scared, but serious. When Travis Taylor, doctor, professor, whatever his title is, when he said, he goes, well, yeah, it could be if they've like leapfrogged us like by 50 or 100 years. And in some cases, he might be right, but some of the stuff, because here's the thing, this is my opinion and I could be wrong. But if this was only like 50 or 100 years ahead of us, then there's more of this stuff where they'd be like, well, and some of the stuff is, but some of the stuff, Travis looks at it and he's like, I have no idea how they're doing this. That I think you're looking at more like 500,000 or more years ahead of us. Where he's like, I'm not even sure how they do that. They don't know what it is. They're trying to find out, but they don't know what it is. But it's like they don't know how some of that stuff happens. And if it was only 50 or 100 years ahead of us, I think they would have at least a theoretical understanding. Well, we can't do it, but here's like, you take a look at some of the stuff Bob Lazar is talking about, or the metamaterials that I've heard people talk about. And like Bob Lazar was saying that there was this element 115 that was used as fuel for the rockets. Well, 5 or 6 years or 8 years after he announced that, it was several years after he announced it. Well, they announced that, yeah, element 115 had been found. They figured out how to make it. Well, the thing is, when they make it, it only lasts for like a fraction of a second, and then it deteriorates. Well, we don't even, and my understanding is we don't even have any theories of how somebody would make this thing stable. That's something that's like several hundred, if not 1,000 or more years ahead of us, unless we have a lucky breakthrough. Because they don't have any ideas. And some of the stuff where they've talked about, well, some of this stuff is clearly from another planet. Because they're like, the isotope ratio is wrong. And like they'll find titanium, and the titanium is a mixture of different things or whatever. I might be wrong on this. But the titanium should have a very specific isotope, and it'll have an isotope that's like way off. And there was somebody was saying, they go, well, the isotope is largely set up by where it's made or where it's created. And that isotope ratio, it's kind of like a fingerprint. And that's probably a bad analogy, but it's the best I can do. But it's like a fingerprint that tells them where. It tells them where. Oh, you little bastard. I can go get my stuff. He should have despawned by now. That's the one nice thing about those little bastards. If you go far enough away, the raid won't, but they're not technically considered part of the raid. Well, anyway, so there's that, and there's some of the stuff on there where like some of the stuff they were like there was something they found, and Travis made a comment that combination of material that they found, and it was like a liquidized form that it's like a liquidized form that was found on the ranch, and they said that those compounds were being used by DARPA for something like a cloaking device. Okay, I got everything important, and we'll get... Okay, the rest I can fix when I get... That's why I kind of came down. I didn't think I'd die, but I wanted to lure those evokers or whatever they are. I think that's what they're called. Wanted to lure them away from my villagers. But yeah, so he showed up. That was the big thing where he's just like, because they were letting him know. He made some comment. He made some questions, and one of the things that they told him was that they know they're being surveilled on the ranch, and there we go. Yeah, and I don't know that this is a glitch, because if they can see it's fair game, but as long as you haven't attacked them, and you're, like, if I'm right here, those, I can't remember what these guys are, the ones with the yellow stripe on the bottom, they might be the ones that are called evokers, I'm not sure. But as long as I'm standing here, they can't see me, and I can wait until other stuff dies, and I'm safe. Now, if I attack one of them, I can go back up there, and he'll still launch shit at me. That's why I hate it when they stay up there and they don't come down, because sometimes they'll launch shit while they're coming down to get me. Yeah, so he was there, and I ended up writing him, and I don't want anybody to harass him. Just I probably shouldn't have, but I kind of reached out to him, and I told him about that guy again. I don't even know if it's true. And usually, I always used to think shit like that was just fucking crazy. But in light of, you had a intelligence whistleblower telling Congress just yesterday that, yes, he's aware of people that have been harmed or injured to cover this stuff up. And then they asked him if he knew of anybody who had been killed. And he said, he goes, I had to be real careful asking that. He goes, the people that told me that, I just directed them to the appropriate law enforcement so they could get it dealt with. But what that tells us is that he was told by people that they were killed. And that one guy, Corso, this is a guy that has admitted to running disinformation campaign for the military, and the Y-Files said that that might have been why he got removed from his job at Air Force Intelligence, because it happened after this guy died in a nut house, if the story's true. And I flagged it out. I kind of reached out to people that are actually working this, but I reached out to him and I tagged him. I go, look, I just saw this a week or so ago, a couple weeks ago. And I go, I don't even know if it's true. I go, I think I told him I used to find stuff like this crazy. But in light of what's been coming out just in the last couple weeks from Congress and around Congress, I go, I don't think it's crazy to keep an open mind on some of this stuff. But I go, this story, if it's true, states that there were things. They basically call out things that happened around him. And I go, they're things that are happening on the ranch. It's just a handful of things. And I go, so it isn't everything that's going on the ranch. But I go, they were basically saying that this was some kind of a disinformation campaign that was being launched on this guy. And I go, here's the thing. I go, even if some of the stuff, and not all of it was happening to this guy, some of it's pretty unique to this ranch compared to what he went through, but I go, even if some of the stuff that's going on here is a disinformation campaign, I go, who's doing it? And what are they trying to distract from? And I go, and if it isn't, if none of it is fake and it's all real, I go, this could be the biggest discovery of our lifetime, bar none. And I sort of like, hey, get to the bottom of who's surveilling to the ranch. And I asked him, please get them everything the government has on the ranch so they are, forewarned and forearmed for what's going on. I go, it might protect them. It might protect people around the ranch. And I go, they've been talking about hitchhiker effects that happen off the ranch. You never know. It ain't going to hurt anything to get it, and it might actually help out a lot. And then I told him, I go, please have their back. I go, please have the team's back on this. Because that's the thing that got me when I watched it last week. Thomas especially, and even the security guy Dragon, they were rattled, and I don't think it was an act. I don't think they were screwing around. They were, I think, fucking rattled at what was going on. And so there was that. That was kind of cool. I really recommend you start watching. If you're in the slightest interest in what I'm telling, fucking go watch the show. It's I think Tuesday's going to be the last episode for the season, and I think it's going to be the last one for Beyond Skinwalker too. Well, then the other thing that happened, they brought in, I can't think of the name of and I mentioned this on Threads when I was talking about it right after watching it. Like, if I came into money, I would seriously, now they're small companies, they're probably not going to be on the stock market, or at least they're not there, but I go, if I had money, I would want to buy stock in pretty much all of the companies that are investigating on the ranch. And I go, especially the ones that do the rockets, because I go, Travis is just mass firing rockets. And then this is the other thing I said after watching the show. I go, they have done multiple things. They've thrown things like they've thrown rubber balls. They've thrown rubber balls. They've thrown things that fly with like a parachute or something like that. They've launched the rockets. They've done balloons. And they've noticed now that the rockets, especially, and even some of the other stuff, ends up getting pushed away because they're like, there was the one where they were throwing this stuff out and they're like, the wind's blowing the other way. The stuff was going opposite the way they said the wind was blowing. And okay, that was maybe the worst day I had all week. I was really, at least that was the worst moment all week, even if it wasn't the worst day. But I had done some of that stuff that day, and I was really fucking lightheaded. So I was kind of daydreaming about Reese Witherspoon movies and the old mail call. I don't know why, they just popped into my head when I was vegging out a little bit. And I go, you know, one thing, I go, and I told him, I go, look, I understand this is probably a stupid idea, but I go, with what I was thinking of, that movie Sweet Home Alabama and that old mail call show, I go, kind of wonder if they ever thought about blowing up anvils with dynamite to launch them in the air like Sweet Home Alabama, or firing cannons. Firing cannons or using a catapult, stuff that they would do on mail call. It's that TV show that had the gunnery sergeant from Full Metal Jacket. I can't think of the guy's name. And Lee Emery or something like that. And you know, because those might be, if you're launching big boulders, or if you're using catapults to throw the anvils, or you're shooting cannonballs, that might be a little harder for whatever it is to push. Where like an aerodynamic rocket or something like that, but a heavy iron cannonball or some other shit, it might have a little bit of problems pushing that. But it's a stupid idea. But it just, you know, I was having a bad, well, not even really a bad day. I was just really fucking weird that day. And before you say it, yes, I understand, more than normal. I'm always a little weird, but just a little more than normal. And well, anyways, they had those guys come on. They had at least 2 different groups on. I think it might have been more, but they're rocket guys, and they had the guys that were with the little drones. They were on. If you haven't seen it, these guys were on like earlier in the season, and they do like fireworks shows and other stuff. And what they do is they fly like a couple hundred drones at once. They do patterns and they put on a show. Well, they hired these guys, and these guys were bringing like a couple hundred drones, and they were out there before. Well, they wanted to do this while they were launching the rockets this time, and they wanted to do them while they were launching the rockets. And here's the thing: it's like a normal thing on Skinwalker, where you get these guys, and they come out with their high-tech equipment, and you know, just they got this attitude like, oh, we got all this sophisticated equipment, best stuff in the world, you know. And then the ranch, you know, nothing's, you know, we're gonna fucking kick this ranch's ass, we're gonna run our tests. And the ranch is like, say, somebody hold my beer. And the batteries were done. Well, the first thing is when they were getting ready to launch rockets and start their thing, they told the guy, well, there was a large number of rockets that were no longer connecting. They just could not get these rockets to connect. And so what happened was they go, well, it's going to take a minute. We got to go and reboot all the, because they didn't know for sure which ones were which. So they had to reboot all of them. And he told us, guys, come on, let's get going. We got to reboot these rockets. Well, at one point when they were asked how long it would take, he goes, if everything goes to plan, 15 minutes, could take longer. And so Eric passed that on to Travis. But it's like, oh my God, you know, if you had a nickel for every time these guys come on and their equipment fails, like, and usually, especially the first time, the look on their face, like there was this guy, he came out there, and they had this equipment that was going to do, I don't know if it was sonar or radar or what, but it was going to do these underground scans and give them an idea of what was underground. And they used it. I'm thinking that guy might not wanted to come back because they ended up using another company, or they wanted him because his equipment was different and better. He had whatever his does. I think it was similar to the other guys, but I think it used a different process. And he was used by a lot of mining companies because his could go hundreds of feet into the ground. It would go further than the other guys would and really do a deep scan. But when these guys come out, and that first guy that was, because he had one that you carried, I think. There was one you could drag, it had wheels, and then there was another one. There were two different vehicles, little things he had. And I think one you could drag and the other one had wheels or something like that, or you carried it or some shit. And you saw the look on his face when they were getting ready to fire it up. And he goes, he made some kind of a noise, he made a face, and I think it was Eric. He goes, "Is there a problem?" And he goes, "Well, yeah." And he goes, "I don't understand it." He goes, and then, he goes, and before he could say it, whoever it was on the ranch goes, "Let me guess, your batteries are dead." And he goes, "Yeah," and he goes, "I don't understand this. I charged him right before." He either charged him the night before, he charged him right before he left, and it was generally never a problem. But he charged him, before he came, so they should have been good. And then he checked the other one, and that one was like 50%. And it was the same thing. And Eric, I think it was Eric, he goes, "Well, how often does this happen?" And the guy looked at him, he goes, "This has never happened before." And he goes, "And all this equipment," I think he had just gotten like new equipment. He was just totally fucking didn't know what to say. And it was the same way when they had problems last night. It's like, you could just see it on. He's like, "What the?" They couldn't. And then the rocket guys were having problems too because they were firing like wherever they were doing. And they had lasers, and I don't know who the lasers. They might have had 3 different vendors there, but they were doing these rockets, and they were doing multiple rockets. So they had like 5 or 6 of them in a cluster, and they were all supposed to launch at once. Well, one of them, he went to fire the rockets, and I don't think they fired at all. And then they fired like randomly afterwards. Like they were all supposed to go once, and they fired them and didn't launch. And then I think, after that, and then other times when they would hit the fire button, well, 2 or 3 of them would go, and the rest would fire one by one. And I'm not kidding you. That was, it's like, yeah, it's just some weird shit going on. I don't know. I really don't know what to say, but it's just some weird shit going on. But oh my God, yeah, I don't know. I literally don't know. But they had lasers, and they were going. And then the other thing I kind of mentioned on threads, and no response. I think I was having a couple bad days, and I probably can't. I didn't think it was that bad, but I probably came off sounding like a nut. So the ranch hasn't, and they might not have liked me reaching out to Congress trying to get them some help. They might not have appreciated that, but I haven't gotten any feedback from the ranch. And they might not have liked where I said, well, hey, you had that one expert on there from Bigelow and the UAP task force, and he basically said that there were 3 or 4 of them on there that were all seeing something different. So I go, you have to take into account that all your data might be meaningless, because I go, whatever was affecting either their vision center in the brain or their eyes might be messing with your equipment. And I thought about it later. I'm like, wait a minute, they already had that happen once where Travis was back home in Alabama, and something happened, so he got onto the cameras at the ranch, which he had access to, and the equipment was showing him like really weird weather, storms, and everything else. Well, when he got back on the ranch, that's not what was recorded. That's not what Eric remembered. And he was saying, he's like, well, that's not what I saw when I was in Alabama. And to be fair, it might not be the team on the ranch. It might be the History Channel. Like, hey, just ignore that. Don't feed in it, because they don't. And look, I like watching the show. If they are doing this to try and protect the integrity of the show, I'm okay with it. It ain't bothering me a bit. And so I don't know. Ooh. Ooh. There we go. And so I don't know. I'm gonna wait. I've done this before where I go up there right after, and it doesn't register the effect. Yeah. See, like I came up here, and it was so soon after. So I don't get another raid. I got to go get another one. Yeah, I don't get mine today. I got to go get another bad omen. Now, I haven't seen this in a while, but one of the times where when I was doing what I did, where I flew down and was running back, there was actually a pillager group coming through, and I got a bad omen. I basically shot the first one, and then I ran, and then the one that followed me, I took him out too, but I actually got a bad omen. But yeah, that was like a really cool, and I like I said, next week I think is the last one for the season, and but yeah, it was a really interesting show. But the thing I mentioned too when I tweeted that they had these cameras on Beyond Skinwalker, and I don't know if they were paired up. I think they were meant to be standalone, and they put like one here and one there. But what they do is they're 360. They got a thing on that can spin and focus. You know, so it doesn't have 360 vision, but it's got 360 range. It can spin around, shoot in all directions. Well, what it's supposed to do is I gotta wait for a dude with a flag, and what it's supposed to do is anything that is unusual, like birds, bugs, and planes, it is not supposed to film. But anything that would be weird, it's supposed to spin around and film it or take pictures of it until it's gone. And the comment I made is, I go, you guys really need to get a hold of that, like talk to that guy who has the high-speed cameras. And what you need those swivel cameras that they used on Beyond Skinwalker, and you need those with those high-speed cameras in it. And I go, what you need to do is you need to put like trios of them around the ranch. And I go, and then when you find stuff, if you've got the cameras like in an area, but they're say like 50 feet apart, you make a little triangle with 50 feet from each leg of the triangle. Well, if you've got something that's showing up on all three of them, I go, then you can pretty much ignore the shitbags that want to say that it's a fly going in front of the one camera, because a fly won't show up on all three of them like that, and put them around. And I go, because the other thing you do is there's times where you guys see something and it's really hard to tell where it is. But I go, if you had them in trios, you could kind of triangulate a lot and a little bit, and at least try to estimate. Even if you can't get the exact distance or size of it, it would at least help you understand like where it is and maybe its height. No captain. But, God, that was a good episode. I'm not sure. Hang on. Okay, it's a little after 3 o'clock. I'm going to probably, because I finished the episode. I didn't have time to rewatch Beyond Skinwalker. But that was a really good episode, too. I'm kind of sad that it's going to be, I can rewatch them again, but yeah, I'm kind of sad that the season's ending. And, oh, I forgot to do this. For anybody who watches this, call to action, please. Oh, never mind. I forgot to do it at the beginning of the episode anyway. But yeah, I'll end it pretty soon, and then because the news is coming on, I like to watch Dateline. But yeah, that was just unbelievable. And I did on the Diablo one I did right before this, hour or so before this. I was talking about the congressional hearing yesterday and some of the stuff that's happened on the news since then. Please go and check that one out. And if you're on YouTube, it'll be on there too. I'm trying to get these up. I haven't put anything up for a couple days, but I'll try and start doing that tomorrow again. Peace out, and I hope everybody is having a great day.